Hi, my name's Cordy, and on this channel we're trying to get to the bottom of what's happened to Nicolas Cage's hair. Early on in his career it seemed as if he was losing his hair at quite a rate, and then it kind of seems to have just stuck in that stage there where it's basically his hair is on the way out, but it's sometimes it's really long and sometimes it's a real thing. Now, today I wanted to just talk about something which I'm fairly certain I've been wrong about for quite a long time now. I got the Princeton earlier this week. The idea for it was to have like a small amp that could be downstairs that I can do stuff with, plug pedals into it occasionally. I might have a gig in the future sometime, and if it's a small kind of jazz gig, maybe this would do the job, that sort of thing, or maybe a rehearsal or something like that. And also because I wanted to kind of check out some of the kind of history behind Mesa Boogie. As it happens, the early Mesa Boogies were basement sort of circuits put into a Princeton with bigger transformers and a more efficient speaker, I believe. And Randall sort of refers to them as Princeton Boogies, and so that's just what that is. The video that I did with it before, I'm using the Torpedo Captor X, and I'm using a Mesa C90 speaker in there, and it's actually plugged into my Mesa Boogie open back wide body 1x12 cabinet, which has also got a C90 in it. So I'm thinking, cool, I really like the sound of this amp, and it took the tube screamer really well and just did all the things that I wanted. And then I took it downstairs and was just using, I think it's got a Jensen speaker in it, comes stock in the reissues, which I think is also one of the speakers that some people upgrade the 68 Customs with. But I plugged it in, and I'll just put in the clips now, or some of the clips, and here's what I found with all of my kind of favourite drive pedals. I think you can probably hear from those clips that things are generally a bit spikier than I would like. It can't be the drive pedals, right, because I know those drive pedals work really well with all of my amps and all of my other setup, so it must be something to do with this amp. And what I've always thought in the past was either you like an amp or you don't, and generally the amp manufacturers will have chosen a speaker that's going to suit that amp. And so people that kind of mod amps and all this sort of stuff, I thought, well, maybe they're chasing something and maybe it's just not the amp for them. But now what I'm thinking is, having heard it plugged into a C90 and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure this amp is a really good thing. Just the speaker combination for me doesn't work, because it's got quite a lot of that high-end sizzle and stuff, which when you're using quite a bit of gain, you don't necessarily want too much of that, especially if you're playing with single coils into a really clean kind of tone, and you ended up getting all this sizzle. That's not really what I'm looking for. With that in mind, I'm pretty sure that I've been wrong about changing out speakers and stuff. If you've got an amp like this where effectively you've got a bass and a treble control and a volume, the only other big kind of EQ thing that you could do is either change the speaker or change the pedals going into it. I know that the drive pedals that I've tried into this amp do the thing that I want with other amps, and so it basically comes down to the speaker. And so I've got a Celestian Gold on the way, and that should be fairly interesting. I've heard good things about the Celestian Gold. Supposedly it's going to smooth things out a bit. If you've got other suggestions and stuff, or things that I definitely should try, apparently you can get a 10-inch version of an EVM 12, but they're a bit rare. Apparently that will fit in there. But anyway, I'm going to try and swap it out for a Celestian Gold. That's the first time I've ever swapped out a speaker, by the way, and even considered this really. So I wanted to just try that and see what happens. You can hear, I think you can hear with this particular C90 speaker, it's got all of those things that I like. So it's got some sparkle, it's got kind of a thick mid-range, plenty of bottom end, but it's not doing that fizzy thing on the top end, which is what is happening when I'm playing it through the stock speaker. So that's the reason that I think this is a good candidate for a speaker change. I don't know if there's a version of a C90 that's 10 inches. Obviously I think a 10-inch speaker in general is going to respond slightly different to a 12-inch. But if you've got suggestions or things I should try, will the Celestian Gold do the trick for me? It'd be really nice if it did. Let me know. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to kind of make this video about. I've been, I think, pretty wrong about this for quite a while now. A speaker change can actually be a relatively inexpensive way to think about, you know, changing up a tone. Probably about the same kind of price as most drive pedals, for instance. You know, I can change, I think I got a second-hand Celestian Gold for about 120 quid. So, you know, talking about the price of a drive pedal. So I should be able to show that next week. I'm just interested to see how it ends up sounding. I do really like this amp clean, but just the way that it's taking drive pedals at the moment doesn't really work for me so well. So thank you for watching. I'm going to do some playing to a track now. You're going to be hearing it through the Torpedo Captor X. But hopefully this is vaguely interesting. Trying to bring sort of stuff to the channel that as I'm learning and all that sort of stuff, and hopefully that's vaguely interesting. If it is, you could use the like and subscribe and all that stuff. And there's also a buy me a coffee link just in case you like the lessons and stuff and backing tracks and all that stuff that I'm doing. I've also got a Patreon where you can get all of those backing tracks, or if you want to just request a couple of them, use the buy me a coffee link and I can send them over to you. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you for another video soon. Cheers.